Yes lads, how you all doing? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Now today, I'm going to bring you guys the Leicester vs Burnley match preview. So the boys and girls, with the Premier League season now well and truly underway, the games are now going to start to go in thick and fast for Leicester in the latest Premier League campaign. And after a brilliant way to start off the season with a 3-0 win, 3 points away from home at West Brom at the Hawthorns, attention now turns to our second league game of the season, our first league game at the King Power Stadium, and we will take on Sean Dyche's Burnley. So with that being said, in today's video I'm going to bring you guys my Leicester vs Burnley match preview for Leicester's first league game at the King Power Stadium for the new 2020-21 Premier League season. I'm going to go through the Burnley side of things, my thoughts on the game, my score prediction, and last but not least my predicted lineup for Leicester vs Burnley. But just before we get into it, make sure a big thumbs up down below on today's video if you guys are going to enjoy today's video as I bring you guys the Leicester vs Burnley match preview. The previews are back for the new season, so if you guys want to see some more previews, some videos like this, let me know by dropping a like down below on today's video. Can we go for 50 likes on today's match preview? If you can, that would be absolutely incredible. Also subscribe and see my face on your screen before we're on the road to 1,500 subscribers, so subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because it would be highly appreciated. There's still a large percentage of you guys who are not subscribed to the channel, which, you know, is an absolute joke. Honestly guys, what are you doing? Go down below, turn that subscribe button grey, because if you're a Leicester fan we do not want to see any red around here at all. So yeah, subscribe if you haven't already. Also turn on my notifications so you never miss any future videos on the channel just like this one. Follow me on all my social medias, they'll be down there. Links to them will be in the description down below. And last but not least, let me know your thoughts on this game, your score predictions for Leicester vs Burnley in the comment section down below. But without further ado, let's get into the first match preview of the new Premier League season, and it's Leicester City versus Burnley. So as per usual, getting straight into today's match preview, we're going to start off by talking about the oppositional side of things. Of course, this week we'll be talking everything about Burnley, and this week I've got Burnley fan and Burnley content creator Ben Livingstone to come on the channel and to bring me and you guys the Burnley side of things heading into their first league game of the new Premier League season. A big thanks to Ben for coming on the channel today. Go and subscribe to his channel. I'll put a link to his channel in the description down below. Of course, Ben is also a part of the Box to Box channel as well, so if you haven't subscribed to that, go subscribe to that as well. But without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Ben, and he's going to bring you and me everything you guys need to know about Burnley and how they could line up heading into their first league game of the season, Leicester's first league game at the King Power Stadium on Sunday.
Right lads, how's it going? So my name is Ben Livingstone and I am a Burnley fan, as you tell from the shirt here. So today Josh has got me on to talk about Burnley and how we've been doing so far in pre-season, transfers we've made and all that kind of stuff. So first of all, let's go into our last game. Our last game we played, which was a competitive game on Wednesday I think it was, and we played Sheffield United and we did win on penalties. It was a 1-1 draw. We won 5-4 on penalties. Nick Pope saving Ollie McBurney's to make us go through to the next round of the cup, where we play Millwall next week. So let's move on to the transfers Burnley have made so far, and it's been a very quiet one in terms of transfers for us this season. We've signed one player, and that is Will Norris from Wolverhampton Wanderers as a backup goalkeeper. He'll be playing third choice this season. Right, so I think it'll be a tough game today, because obviously in your last game you did win 3-0 against West Bromwich Albion. You played very well in that game as well. I thought you've just in general played very solid. So my predicted lineup for the game is going to be in goal Nick Pope, at right back and we're having Phil Bardsley, centre back James Tarkowski and Kevin Long, left back Charlie Taylor. Obviously we play a 4-4-2 formation, so at right mid I've gone with Robbie Brady, at left mid Dwight McNeil, and two centre mids Westwood and Brownhill. Up front Jay Rodriguez and Chris Wood. We'll have a very slow bench because we've not got all that many players that are actually fit that are senior players, so we do need massive investment into the squad in the final few weeks of the transfer window. Will it happen? Probably not, as we're not known for spending a lot of money. But I hope we do bring a few new faces. Obviously Goodmanson, I foresee we're going to have a fantastic season, but he's got injured again, so it's not looking great for him. Hopefully he can be back fit before the new year. And finally, my score prediction for the game on Sunday is going to be a 1-0 win for Burnley. I've got to be optimistic. I don't think we will get a win. A draw would be very solid. I'd happily take a draw right now going into it. Obviously, you're a much better side than us. You finished 4th in the league, 5th in the league. So, fair play for that. We finished 10th. So, that's a bit of a difference. Although we did beat you 2-1 at Turf Moor last season, and you did beat us 2-1 at the King Power. Very controversially as well. But I think we could snatch a win. Sean Dyche now, 1-0 I'm going for. Anyway, subscribe to my channel. My channel is Ben Livingstone. I do watch-alongs a lot. I'll be doing a watch-along for the game on Sunday. So make sure to go subscribe to that one. I'm a bit ill at the moment, so I do apologise if I am speaking a bit fast and you can't understand what I'm saying. I am a bit ill at the minute. So I do apologise. Anyway, thank you for watching. Go subscribe to me and Josh. And that's going to be it from me.
So a big thanks to Ben for coming on the channel today. Like I said, go and subscribe to the channel, Ben Livingstone. I'll put a link to his channel in the description down below. But without further ado, let's get into the Leicester side of things, heading into Leicester's first league game at the King Power Stadium this season. So, Burnley at home in our second league game of the season. It is going to be a tough game against Burnley. Of course, Burnley are a very, very tough team to beat. Just work wherever you go. Leicester always seem to struggle against the Clarets as well. And it's going to be a very, very tough game for Leicester on Sunday at the King Power Stadium. Of course, Burnley are always a very, very hard team to break down defensively. They are very, very strong under Sean Dyche. And going forward, they have a lot of threat for the likes of Chris Wood, Jay Rodriguez and Ashley Barnes as well. So overall, it is going to be another very, very tough game for Leicester on the weekend. Of course, Burnley play a very different style of football, to say the least. It is compared to Brexit football, which is probably right. But it does work for Burnley. They consistently do well in the Premier League. And last season, they had a very good finish, in my opinion. I think they came around 10th, which is, of course, very, very good for Burnley, who are on a very, very low budget as well in the Premier League. So the system seems to work for Burnley. And like I said, it is going to be a tough game for Leicester on the weekend. It's always hard to break that Burnley defence down. But if you do manage to score, it gets slightly easier because Burnley have to come out and get at you, and then you can try and catch them on the counter-attack. But overall, the game on Sunday is going to be a very, very tough game, and it's going to be a very, very tight game as well, in my opinion. However, Leicester should have enough quality to break down that Burnley side, and then after they get the first goal, the floodgates should open for Leicester. So overall, we should have enough quality to break down that Burnley defence with the likes of James Maddison, Yuri Tillemans, Dennis Pratt, Ayoze Perez. We should have those players that can cut that Burnley defence in half and give Leicester quite a few chances. So it's going to be tough, but overall, Leicester should have enough quality and probably are the better team. So you should be expecting Leicester to take all 3 points on Sunday. And of course, after Leicester opened their Premier League campaign with a brilliant 3 points away from home at the Hawthorns against West Brom, as the Foxes beating them 3-0 on the opening day of the season. The Foxes should be very confident heading into the game. So overall, I'm pretty confident that Leicester can get the 3 points, and that would make the perfect start to the new Premier League season. So that's it for my general thoughts on the game. So let's get straight on to my score prediction for Leicester versus Burnley then. So I'm going to be going with a Leicester City 2, Burnley 1. This is the usual scoreline between Leicester and Burnley. It usually goes either way, but on this occasion, I'm going to go with Leicester to be on the right end of the scoreline and to take all 3 points. Like I said, it's going to be quite a cagey affair. These games are either going to be quite low scoring, and this is an example of that. I think whenever the first goal comes in, the game will just open up. But overall, it's going to be a very tentative first 20 minutes or so. But the first team who breaks the scoring down, I think they'll probably go on and win the game. And hopefully Leicester are that team to get the first goal in the game, because I think that first goal is going to be very, very crucial. But I'm fully confident in Leicester's ability, and I'm confident that Leicester can get all 3 points in the game. I'm going to be going with Jamie Vardy to get 1. Of course, he scored 2 in the opening game of the season against West Brom. And the other goal scorer, I'm going to be going with James Maddison to get on the score sheet. And for Burnley, I'm going to go with former Leicester man Chris Wood to score. It's going to be a tough game, but I'm confident that Leicester can get the 3 points. And 3 points on Sunday would make a brilliant start to the new season, which would make it 6 points out of 6 for the Foxes. So that's it for my prediction for Leicester versus Burnley. So let's get straight onto my predicted lineup. So onto my predicted lineup. So this is the side I think Brendan Rodgers will go to start against Burnley on the weekend down at the King Power Stadium. So starting off in goal, I'm going to be going with Kasper Schmeichel. A brilliant start to the season for Kasper. Yes, he didn't really have too much to do, but he had a good first half. He had to make a couple of saves. So yeah, Kasper Schmeichel to start in goal for me against Burnley. He's going to be worked to be honest with the crosses coming in for Burnley, but hopefully Kasper can have a solid game against Burnley on the weekend. Moving on to the back four then, so just to quickly mention, I'm going to be going with a 4-1-4-1 formation, the same formation which Leicester went with against West Brom on the weekend. So starting off at right back, I'm going to be going with Timothy Castagne. What a debut it was from this man, getting his name on the score sheet, a clean sheet on his debut as well, and overall it was a very, very impressive performance from Leicester's latest and the only signing of the summer, which hopefully is going to change by the time this video goes out. But yeah, Timothy Castagne is to start at right back for me. I think it's going to be a bit of a different test for him against a very different different Burnley side. It's probably the hardest game physically you can probably have it in the Premier League. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Castagna does it in the game. But yeah, Timothy Castagna has started right back in my opinion. So moving into the two centre halves, to start us off with the right centre back, I'm going to be going with Wilfred Ndidi. It was a brilliant performance from Wilfred Ndidi last time out against West Brom in the Premier League. Of course, Ndidi is usually that player just ahead of the two centre backs in the CDM role, but of course with Leicester's injuries and suspensions, I think Wilfred Ndidi should be the man to come in to start in that centre back role. Hopefully Wolf can. I think he had a great performance against West Brom, so I do hope that Wolf starts in that centre back role, and of course when the likes of Johnny Evans is back fit and ready to play, can move just back into his usual role just in front of the two centre backs. But yeah, Wilfred Ndidi needs to start in one centre back role for me. Alongside Ndidi, I'm going to be going with Kagler Soyuncu. It was a very good performance from Kagler on the weekend against West Brom, so hopefully Soyuncu can have another good game. It's going to be difficult, it's going to be tough for Soyuncu and Ndidi. There's a lot of aerial threat you have to deal with against Burnley, but I'm fairly confident that both players will be able to deal with Burnley's crosses in the game. So yeah, my two centre backs are going to be Wilfred Ndidi and Kagler Soyuncu. On to left back then, I'm going to be going with James Justin. It was a good performance from James Justin on the weekend against West Brom. The first half performance wasn't the greatest, but in the second half there's a much more improved performance from James Justin. So hopefully JJ can have another solid game. Of course, it's going to be Timothy Castagna and James Justin on the fullback role. So I guess they could change, to be honest, but hopefully JJ can have another good game. It's going to be important to try and stop those Burnley crosses, and he could come up against players like Dwight McNeil and Robbie Brady as well. So it's going to be a tough game for James Justin, but I'm fully confident that the youngster can have another solid performance against Burnley on the weekend. Into midfield then, to start us off in the defensive midfielder role, just in front of the two centre backs and just behind the two centre mids, I'm going to be going with Nampalys Mendy. Thought he had a brilliant game on the weekend against West Brom, and hopefully he can have another good game against Burnley on the weekend. I thought he came in and did a fantastic job against West Brom. He was one of the most underrated players on the pitch at the Hawthorns on Sunday. Yeah, it could be Hamza Chowdhury, it could be Ndidi, but to be honest, Nampalys Mendy came in and did he did a great job, to be honest, against West Brom. He's good on the ball, he can tackle the man, and I think that he's going to need that against Burnley on the weekend. So hopefully Papi Mendy can have another good game, another good performance against Burnley on the weekend. Just ahead of the Nampalys Mendy then, I'm going to be going with Youri Tielemans to start off in one of the centre midfielder roles. I thought Youri had a great game against West Brom on the weekend. He looked back to his best. His passing ability was great, to be honest. He linked up just well with his Belgian teammates as well, especially with lots of Timothy Castagna and Dennis Pratt in the midfield area. So hopefully Youri can have a good game against Burnley. It's going to be important as Youri Tielemans he's going to be the main man, I think, in breaking that Burnley defence apart. He needs to link up the play well, to be honest, because if Leicester are going to break that Burnley defence apart, the midfielders for Leicester are going to need to be on it, to have quick passing, etc., trying to break that Burnley defence apart. And hopefully Youri Tielemans can be a big part of that. So yeah, Youri Tielemans to start off as the first centre midfielder for me. Alongside Youri Tielemans then, I'm going to be going with James Maddison to start in the other centre midfielder role. Of course, James Maddison has been injured for quite a while now. He was barely even involved in the games behind closed doors, but we saw him feature off the bench against West Brom in the opening day of the season, and I think James Maddison will get his well-deserved start on the weekend against Burnley. He's going to be very important in breaking that defence apart, and I think Youri Tielemans, James Maddison will work very well together, and especially with Nampalys Mendy just behind them, I think that will work well against Burnley. So hopefully James Maddison can come in, get his well-deserved start and cause Burnley some problems, and I think James Maddison will have a good performance on the weekend. Moving into the left wing position then, I'm going to be going with Harvey Barnes. There's a good performance from Harvey on the weekend against West Brom, but the only thing he lacked was his finishing once again. His overall performance, the ability to take on the man was there for Harvey Barnes, but his finishing, his final product once again was the only thing really holding him back. But I think as games come on, he just improved. He looked very good against West Brom, and I think especially against Burnley, we need players who can take the man, and Harvey Barnes is completely that. So hopefully Harvey can have a good game against Burnley, try and just go direct to that Burnley defence and cause them some problems, and hopefully Harvey Barnes can do that. Into the right wing position then, I'm going to be going with a Jose Perez. Of course, Perez isn't really a winger, but we don't really have too many other options, so I think Jose Perez will start out wide for Leicester on Sunday against Burnley. He's going to be very important as well, in my opinion. He's that player, he can drift inside, and he's very good at linking the play up. So Jose Perez is going to have a good game against Burnley on the weekend if Leicester just want to get the 3 points. I thought Jose had a good game against West Brom in the opening day of the season, so hopefully Jose Perez can back that up and have another good performance on the weekend against Burnley. And finally, moving up front, I'm going to be going with Leicester's number 9, Jamie Vardy. Of course, 2 goals against West Brom on the weekend. Yes, There were 2 penalties, but it's still 2 goals, and that is 2 goals to start off the season for Jamie Vardy, and that is going to give Jamie Vardy a lot of confidence. It's going to be a tough game for Jamie Vardy against Burnley, as the Clarets do like to sit back, and it's like I said, it's hard to break Burnley down in that type of game. Doesn't really suit Vardy, but he's still going to be involved for me. If Jamie Vardy gets a chance, he's going to take it. So hopefully Jamie Vardy can have another good performance against Burnley, and hopefully he can score again, and maybe just whip that celebration out again, because that was absolutely carnage. So hopefully Jamie Vardy can have a good performance against Burnley on the weekend, and of course I'm going to go with Jamie Vardy to start up front in that striker role. That's it for my predicted lineup. So once again I'm going to go with Castle Striker to starting goal, Timothy Castagna at right back, the 2 centre backs, and Didi Kaglasung to the left back being James Justin. The centre defensive midfielder role is going to be placed by the Harleys mainly, the 2 centre mids, James Madison and Yuri Tillemans, the 2 wingers, Harvey Barnes and Jose Perez, and finally up top I'm going to go with Jamie Vardy. So the boys and girls, that is it for today's video. In today's video, I bring you guys my match preview for Leicester vs Burnley in the Premier League. The previews are back on the channel. If you guys did enjoy today's video, let me know by dropping a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts on the game, your score predictions in the comment section down below, people. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I'm Sportsa, and I'll see you guys very, very soon in my next video. Peace out.